For my network learning project, I learned the new skill of making a candle. I went from making your average soy wax candle with no scent to teaching myself how to make a candle with multiple scents, colors, and decorations. Over the course of 6 weeks, my learning goal was to create a candle using 2 essential oil scents and aesthetically pleasing decoration elements. During week 1, my main job was to research using my professional learning network. I used these resources to gather and purchase materials as well as learn the steps of making a candle. I found a video from the beginner's guide of making a candle to be most helpful in creating the first candle I have here in just learning the basic steps of melting wax and pouring it into a jar. As I continued to practice into week 3, I continued to work on the steps of making a candle and getting familiar with it. I also added 1 essential oil scent, which was eucalyptus. I worked on some safety tips, which were to wear a cooking glove so my hand wouldn't get burnt through the steam, as well as I learned a very helpful cleanup procedure from DIY Products 101's blog for disposing my wax, which was a messy procedure, but instead they taught me that I could use the leftover wax to make tea lights, as you can see in this image, in addition to my candle. As I continued to practice into week 6, I felt that I had the steps of making a candle pretty mastered, so I worked on adding 2 essential oil scents, which were eucalyptus and lavender, as well as adding a green color pellet, which is the color you can add to your wax. And I also added aesthetically pleasing decorations, which I found around my house and felt personally were visually appealing. In the video, you will see the steps of how this candle came to be. One thing I struggled with as I started to combine multiple scents was getting the right amount of scent, something that wasn't too strong or too weak as the candle started to burn. So I did some research through Pro Candle Supply and found a video about the measurements and strategies you can use to measure out your scents. I used the scents lavender and eucalyptus, and what they recommended was getting yourself a mason jar and some Q-tips and starting to measure out different amounts of essential oils and letting it sit in the jar for a couple hours, and then you're able to open it up and take out a Q-tip and smell what that scent is and decide do you need more or less next time. This was really helpful because I didn't have to waste my wax. Before, I was just pouring the scent right into the wax and putting it into the candle, and I wouldn't know if I liked the scent until my candle was all the way complete. Where with this, I landed on knowing that I need a tablespoon of lavender and a tablespoon of eucalyptus. Now that I know the scents I'd like to use, I melted down my soy wax and I'm ready to add the color and scents. As I said before, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of the lavender essential oil and 1 tablespoon of the eucalyptus oil to my melted wax, as you can see here. I also did some research about adding color to my wax. Right now, this will only turn white. So I found Brambleberry's website to be most useful. There's a variety of ways you can dye your candle wax, but they show just color palettes that you can use. I chose green today. And now that my candle wax is melted down, I'm gonna stir in the color to add another aesthetic piece to my candle. Now that my dye and essential oils are all mixed together, I'm ready to pour the melted wax into my jars to set as candles. I'm going to start by adding the mixture to my main candle jar, and as you can see, it has a bright green color. I'm also going to add any remaining candle wax that I have into tea lights. I learned from my past experiences that this is a more sustainable way to not waste candles and is an easier cleanup. We are going to let this candle set and then see if the color and the smells that I added with my essential oil match the goal I was hoping to achieve. I was able to meet my learning goal of creating a visually appealing candle with multiple scents, as this candle fills our room with different scents as it burns and is visually appealing. As I continue to practice with this skill, I'm going to work on adding a variety of different colors, as well as adding multiple different scents I haven't worked
with before.